Okay, we are live. So, hello, my name is Juno Losita, and you are
Ozzy Longoria, artist, owner of Gemini Comics.
awesome. Very happy to meet with you today. Maybe we can just start off with you walking us through a day in your life as a writer and artist.
A day in my life. Well, I wake up, I got a breakfast, a big breakfast. Um, Sometimes I wake up and I wake up my baby and I give him breakfast. I have a year old, and then I start doing comic books. Right now, I'm doing a 4 issue miniseries. I'm working on book number four. But this is the one that I'm working now. It is for Big City Comics. It's a New York company, and they published this one, but we're working on number four, the last one. So basically, I work until I get tired or until I'm hungry, and then I go back. I work in the basement of my house, so I go up and hang out with my son. I put him to sleep for a nap and eat something, and basically I go back to work. I draw, and then I work on my own projects too. Um, and basically it's kind of boring because I'm sitting down the whole day in front of a TV and my tablet, and there's not much to not much to it. So that's my day every day. I don't take days off.
That sounds awesome. So, what tools or software do you use when you're doing your art?
Um, I use many. Um, I have this Microsoft tablet. It's an awesome gift my wife gave me. That just completely changed my way to do comic books. It's faster, and so I used to use Krita. I still use it for different kind of effects, but I use Clip Studio. I also use Photoshop, Illustrator, and what else? I guess those are the four main ones.
Oh, those are great. Which tool is your favorite?
Uh, any tool that helps me do everything faster, believe me. The Clip Studio is really good. I even paid for the Pro or the Premium, whatever they call it, because it's really good. It just changed my life. And you can buy more tools and download stuff. It helps you be faster, and it's really good. I recommend that a lot. Also, Krita is good, but it doesn't have that much that many tools that you can use. Or maybe it does, but I don't know. I don't know. I never explored, and it's free, so I use both.
Awesome. When I'm doing my art, I like to use Procreate.
Procreate is good
So
too.
yeah, what inspired you to become a comic book artist? Right.
What inspired me? Oh well, my dad is a barber, so he always had magazines and comic books. Um, First off, let me go back. I'm from Mexico, Mexico City. So my dad is a barber, and I already explained that. And he already had a lot of magazines and comic books, and that I used to go to his barber shop and grab all the magazines and just start all the comic books. Started just reading them. That inspired me a lot. All the greats, um, Frank Miller, John Byrne, Jim Lee, which is my hero. Uh, Pretty much all the good ones. And I started just copying him, copying them all of them, and that was my inspiration basically. I I just started basically being a copycat, just doing also movies. Movies are my inspiration too. I'm a movie buff. While I'm drawing, I'm watching movies at the same time. I know it's crazy. No one understands how can I do that, but I'm watching and drawing at the same time, up and down, up and down. And I watch probably like 3, 4 movies a day. I've been doing that for 25 years. So yeah, movies and comic books. That's my inspiration.
I'm actually the same way with that. When I draw, I like to be watching TV as well. It's just way more easier for me. I don't know. I like it. Um, that is awesome. I definitely loved reading some comic books when I was younger. What was your favorite comic book?
Well, in Mexico is a different market. Obviously, we don't have as many as here. They do reprint all the good ones, all the classics or the big arcs. So the first one that I fell in love with is a Mexican comic book. It's called Memín Pinguin, and then also Caliman, which is a superhero. It's more like a mystical kind of guy who has superpowers, like supernatural powers. It's a superhero, you can call it, but it's in a different realm. And then Spider-Man is my used to be my favorite when I was a kid. That I used to just love it and buy every single thing about him. Um, then I started um, adding more to my collection. Batman. Um, like I said, it was limited, and then I had to go and buy in to places where they import comic books in English. Um, and then I started just collecting more and more and more different kinds. Uh, Doctor Strange, or I don't know, different Black Panther, or things that they normally don't print in Mexico.
I'm also a fan of Spider-Man. So, how many comic books would you say you have worked on so far?
That's a tough question. I've been doing it for 25 years, so hundreds. I don't know. Uh, I lost count. I don't know, like a couple hundred, maybe 300. It's hard to say.
Do you have
It,
one that you just enjoyed working a lot on?
um, well, my own, obviously. I love what I do, and I'm doing it in my own style, my own. I don't get editors, um, because I don't like when everybody tells me how to do my own comic books. So um, I have many actually, and actually the one that I showed, this one is really good. The writing is really good, and I am enjoying it so much drawing. It's just my favorite, uh, one of my favorite, my most um, detailed book, and I'm enjoying it so much. But obviously, my own comic books, I did this. I got a bunch of them stuck here. This one, I just finished 12. Well, I finished last year 12 issues. It's it's the Sword and the Sorcerer. This cover is by Simon Beasley, and I did all the interiors and colors. And this is probably one of my favorite. I also put like it took me a long time to finish it because I wanted to be like super detailed, everything perfect. Uh, I don't want to give you spoilers, huh? But yeah, we worked really really hard to put that together. We are an indie company, and we got to have Mr. Beasley here on this cover. Is insane. I just don't believe it. He's a superstar in my account, in many accounts. I mean, just he's really good. I don't know if you know it. You know him, his work.
I don't think I know him, but those comic books seem very interesting, and I love the art that's inside of it.
Yeah, I can show
Um,
you a little more of my work if you want.
sure.
Um, I'm doing. I'm still working on this Doomsday TV. This is my own stories, um, my own art. It's also like a collection of short stories. It's they've been seen through the lens of a cameraman, and each episode is a TV show or like someone is streaming, going into the world and streaming. Well, okay, the premise is that the world's gonna end in 7 years, so the world becomes chaotic, and one character, my main character, goes and decides to record everything that he sees, all the bad things. So when you see it through the camera, it's a different artist. But when it's in real life, it's me. Like I'm drawing the whole thing, the whole story, what's happening to my character. Um, and I publish. So far, I published four of them. Um, I got so many right here. Let me find them. Right here. This is number one. Wait, no, this is number one. Can't see. Wait, this is number one. That's number three. This is the main character right here. So
Those
yeah,
ones seem very interesting. I would love to actually look at them, maybe purchase them
yeah,
myself.
yeah. They're right now in Indiegogo. It's a campaign that I did, and they're live. Um, it's on demand. You can still uh, in Indiegogo. I think in Kickstarter too. I'm not sure. I got a few campaigns too. Also for the Sword and the Sorcerer, which you can see. I have some of the. Um, it's a movie basically. This Sword and the Sorcerer. It's a cult movie from the 80s, and we got the rights to do the comic book. Me and my partner Jeremy. Uh, he got the rights actually. He talked to the director, and also this shirt, Sword and the Sorcerer. So we have that campaign too on Indiegogo, and we have the first 5 books, I think, 4 books, 4 books, and it's a 12 issue miniseries or series. It's not that mini. Yeah, I I've done so many. I also have I've done covers. Um, I did this cover for The Brute. It's um it's a trade paperback. I also did one issue of this, or 2 issues, I think. Really good book. The company is sub sub press matter. Um, I've done covers, and this is also a cover I did for. This is also from a movie. from the 80s too, from the same director. It's called Mean Guns. The main actor is Ice Cube. It's a good movie. You should watch it. I don't know if you like those. It's kind of like crime. Everybody's in one um, building, and they kill themselves in one building. It's kind of like the raid. Well, not really, but similar. Um, and I'm working on this right now. I'm finishing book 8 of ETA. It's a samurai story. I did all the art on this one, and I've been doing it for pretty much one a year. The company is in Texas, I think. It's called Golden Tree Publishing. They go really slow, but there's, I don't know. It's not my company, so I don't know. It's just one a year basically, and working on number 8 right now. Um, and yeah, just I have so many. This is my own comic books too. Nathaniel Demon. Um, Cells of Blood. It's a pirate book that I did a few years ago. It's 3-issue miniseries. And this one.
I love those. They seem
Yeah, it's
very
a really good.
nice.
Huh? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
It's okay. I had the same issue for a second. Okay. Yeah, I those seem very interesting. I hope that I can check them out soon as well because they seem very cool. Definitely have a lot of experience under your belt, don't you?
I keep myself busy. Like I said, I love to work in comic books. I work every single day. Even when I'm gonna take a day off, I gotta wake up early and do at least 2-3 hours of art. It's my passion, and I've been doing it uh, 25 years. Oh, actually, more than that, because um, I moved here in '99, so that's 25 years. But I used to do it in Mexico too, so I just never published them, all my projects. So I got a lot of experience in my belt.
That's awesome. And what would you say has been the biggest challenge in this career?
The biggest challenge is always money. That you always need money to start new projects, pay your people. Um, but in the beginning, the issue was language barrier. I didn't speak English. I started just. I used to get people who speak Spanish to communicate and trying to translate my books, um, and that was the biggest, I guess, the biggest uh, challenge, because I always wanted to tell my own stories, and that was for me the. I mean, I work for other companies, but I do it for the money, and then with that money, I can just publish my own stuff, and it's a circle. But yeah, that was the biggest challenge. But yeah, there's always challenges in comic books. Everything is a challenge. I don't know if your computer malfunction, you run out of paper. I mean, right now, if I live in a small town in Colorado, and it's only 3,000 people, so there's no art supplies. There's nothing like that. So I have to get it from uh, order it, and then that's also a little challenge. Not as much. But yeah, I guess the language was the biggest, and money. Because
That makes a lot of sense.
if you want to get a like a superstar or like a someone known to do your covers, you need money.
That's great. Um, do you ever experience creative blocks like with writing or art?
I don't know what that is. I always hear that. I just don't have that. Never had it. I just if I'm thinking if I'm blocked, I just I don't know. I don't know what to do. That never happened to me. I just always creating stuff. I guess I'm lucky because I hear a lot of people have that. Um, I had I had a moment where I had a depression, but and I stopped working on comic books. But I don't think I ever like stop creating stuff or have blogs or just no. I mean, to be honest, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, there's some people who don't get it, and that's actually a great thing. That means they can keep creating and you don't have to stop at any point. It's awesome to have that.
I feel fortunate.
What do you think makes a comic book visually engaging?
Visually engaging. Well, storytelling, 100%. If you tell your story in the correct storytelling, that will appeal to the reader, even if the reader doesn't know about comic books. You can completely get the attention of that person. Also, colors are really good, um, engaging for people, um, because I did I put that to the test because I did a comic book that is it was good storytelling and it was black and white and it sell, but it wasn't selling that good. And then I colored it. I paid for a good colorist, and it sold really good. Um, and I think that's having the right elements on your comic book. That's what is appealing to a lot of people. Um, if you good writing too. I mean, obviously that's how it starts. If you don't have if I don't get a good script, I just don't do it. If I just don't want to do that. Um, Obviously, if I'm being hired to draw or to color a book, I, I don't care because it's not my company, it's not my book. I'm just getting paid. Like I said, I'm getting paid to do my comic books. But yeah, I mean, you have to do um, you have to use the right elements, right people too.
That's great. I definitely agree. And myself, I do like color more as well. It just feels more appealing to read, in my opinion. Suppose. Um, so how do you feel about the future of the comic book industry?
Well, um, it's very different from when I started. When I started, you can sell 10,000 copies, easily. Well, not easily, but fairly easily. You can just go through a distribution company and sell them. But if it's always been uh, a good project, so that if it's a good project, you will sell. But nowadays, I mean, always been bad projects in the industry. nowadays I see the industry being too much too much politics in it, too much of what's happening in the world. And why would you want to portray that in your comic book when you're trying to escape from that in your comic book, right? You want to read fantasy or you want to read superheroes, whatever. It's escape. You don't want to read the same thing that is happening in the world in your comic books. I mean, a lot. Some people, I'm sure they do, but uh, I, I guess that's one of those things that is making the industry not so good. Uh, the the issues that the the superheroes or um, are going through are not that good. It's just not good writing anymore. It's just too much politics. So I guess the industry um, I see it like a failing at one point, but it can recover. I'm sure. They just need to get better writers and stop doing what they're doing. But it's unfortunately it's the economy. If the economy goes bad, um, you don't have money to spend on comic books, which is just entertainment, very expensive entertainment, and so that's why people are not buying anymore. Like it's just too expensive. Same with movies. Movies are getting super expensive, and that's why people are not going because you haven't. If you can watch them in your TV, I mean, I love movies, and I mean, there's no movie theater here in the mountains. There's one they open for a few months, but it's a drive-in. But and I go and I support them because I want them to bring good movies. But obviously, a lot of people they just don't care about that industry or the comic book industry because, like I said, there is uh, that lack of creativity or good writing or good artists too. Like I've seen some books that are awful. Maybe I should start just writing or working for the big two. Kidding. But yeah, that's the I think that's my point of view.
I definitely get that. I also, I use those things as escapes as well. I don't really like reading too much politics also, so I definitely feel all that myself. Um, what do you think is a common misconception that you hear about um in this career?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Sorry. I asked what is a common misconception you hear that's related to this career?
A common misconception. Um, I don't know. Maybe I've seen a lot of people. They think that artists make a lot of money. That's a big misconception. Um, yeah, that's the one that I can think of. Or writers. Writers are even worse than artists. Yeah, I mean that's a big misconception because obviously even the big two they don't pay that well unless you're a superstar or like very well known artist. And yeah, I mean that's probably the biggest that I can think of right now.
I know this question is going to be a bit hard, but can I have your opinion on AI within like people doing using AI for art or writing?
Well, I think it's cheating. Uh, I think this is a really uh, big topic that is it's been everywhere. Everywhere, all the groups, the Facebook groups, about comic books, they're talking about that. A lot of angry people, um, and they are in the right because um, normally it's it's like the when the horses were about to be exchanged for cars, and we are the horses. So we're being replaced. But I think there's there's good things and bad things about everything. I personally don't use AI because I mean I can do it for myself. A lot of people are claiming they're artists, and by using the AI, I just don't think they can claim that. It's just wrong. It's immoral. It's unethical. But they can do whatever they want. I mean, no one can stop them. It's it's um, it's their own problem, I guess. If they want to believe that they can they can draw, they're artists because they can push buttons. I mean, that's their own problem. That's on them. But what I can say that we can do is just we can get together, form some sort of alliance, and just uh, complain about about the companies. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been following the big two, Disney and or I mean, Marvel or DC, but I don't think they're using any more AI. I think they did at one point, but they we should complain about that and just tell them we need to send them emails and say, well, we don't want AI on our comic books, and I'm sure they will do something about it. I mean, it's almost impossible to stop because I've seen that in all those comments on those groups. They just complain. They like to complain, but they don't do anything about it. So why are you complaining about someone using it if it's not illegal or it's not? It's really is is sometimes they just say, well, it's AI, so they're not being unethical. They're not being lying. They're not lying. So it's just they are doing it through that because they cannot do it, and that's fine. In my point of view, it's fine. But when they say that they did it and they're trying to get money out of it, that's when it's unethical. That's when it becomes a big problem. So I just don't. What you can do is just not allowing groups, or they can do their own groups, which already they have their own groups for AI, and that's what like I said, we can, instead of being angry about it, we need to voice our opinions and our concerns, just trying to for example get ban all these people who uses AI and trying to pass them as themselves for themselves. Like that's that's one of those things. But I'm not angry about it. If it's time for us to be extinct, well, it is time. What you can do? There's nothing you can do. I'm sure comic books will exist and will. There's always going to be a niche for um, for any artist, for writers, for whatever, um, and you just have to get better, get better or die, or just not die but go away.
I love your opinion on it. And yeah, I definitely seen it overtaking a lot of groups. That is why I brought up the question. I'm in those comic book groups, and I've definitely seen the topic being brought up multiple times.
Yeah, I
Um,
had to ban a lot of people from my Facebook feed because they told me like, oh, you can't post that on your Facebook. Like, really? I cannot post that. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not angry about posting stuff because it's entertainment too. Some of those things that are really funny or they're really creative, they're made by AI and people knows it. So they're not made by an artist who are claiming he's the artist, no, or a guy who thinks he's the artist. And I had to ban a bunch of people. I just like I don't want to deal with that. Even a friend of mine is like, no, you can't tell me what to do. First off,
that's definitely understandable. Um, so who do you think was your biggest influence in the comic book industry?
yeah, like I said earlier, I was a copycat of Jim Lee. When I started, he actually changed my life. He actually told him that. Um, in '99 when X-Men #1 came out, it actually wasn't. Yeah, '99, '91. Uh, I I was going to college, and then I saw that book, and I said, well, I don't want to do that. I was going for communications. I was going for radio, TV, and trying to get into that. But I was really good at it. But then I said, well, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to become a comic book artist. And I just drop everything. I drop school, drop out of school, and then I started just drawing, trying to copy, trying to mimic all his style, and also I I found I was watching TV and I found this famous guy in Mexico, which is the only Eisner Award winner um, in Mexico, or the first and the only one, I think. And I went to see him in a convention, well, one of the biggest conventions in the world, actually, at that time. And so I went to see him, and it's like I show him my stuff, and he's like, "Well, you're good, but you need basics, the basics." It's like, "Can you please teach me, please, please, please? I'll pay you so much." And he's like, "No, I won't charge you. You can come to my house." And I went to his house weekend, every weekend for a year and a half, I think. His name is Oscar Gonzalez Loyo. He unfortunately is no longer with us, but he mentored me, and he actually brought me to San Diego Comic Con in '99. Uh, he's also a mentor for many other good artists like Humberto Ramos or uh, and many others. There's many. He's like the Eisner of Mexico. That's how can I describe it. So anyway, I he was also a big influence. Obviously, he's the one who teach me all the ropes, and so that's what I did. I just study and study and study, and then I moved to the U.S. and California, and I started working on comic books, and that's it. That's the I've been doing that since. But Jim Lee was the star, the one who started it. And then I met him actually. I met him many times because I was his stalker. I used to go to every single convention he was. I used to go to. He was. Then I moved to Denver, and he went to a signing, and then I saw him again, and he's like, "Oh, you!" Like he remembered me, and then he gave me so many good tips, um, and but yeah, he was the biggest influence, and I changed completely my life. His work, like completely. um, the 180 on my life.
Do you ever vendor at Comic Cons?
Yeah, yeah. I used to do the circuit. I used to go one convention every week during the summer, or actually during this, starting from May through August, every week. I used to travel everywhere. Um, I don't do it anymore because, well, I have a baby now. It's almost 2 years, so I'm needed here. But the comic book conventions here in close to in Colorado, I go to the Denver Comic Con, Fort Collins, all those little ones, and yeah, I still do it. And I'm planning to do more once he grows up a little more. Um, but we'll see. Depends on how they how the conventions are, because they're gonna transform too. Uh, in 25 years, I saw San Diego Comic Con being like small thing, becoming like a juggernaut, like a huge thing, like a gargantual. And I don't like it anymore because it's impossible to get a. We used to have a table there, but it's impossible to get a table now.
That's awesome. I love that. Um,
Do you
so
do
do you
any
have any, huh?
Do you do any conventions?
I don't vendor, but that's only because I do not have a table yet. I don't have the supplies I need to vendor. But I do go to Comic Cons. I enjoy going to them often.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So do you have any tips for aspiring comic book writers and artists?
The biggest tip, I have a group. I started a group where I teach uh, comic books. I teach how to do comic books but it's in Spanish. But the first thing I tell them, like, do the basics. This is the same exact thing that my mentor told me. Just start with the basics, because people want to jump all those the basic stuff, and they can do amazing pinups, but once they do sequential stuff, they can do it. And it's harder. They're slow. They just don't have the basic knowledge. So what you have to do is go back and study at least a year or two, the basics. That's it. No doing anything else. Just do that, focus, and once you get that, you will see how easy it is drawing. Once you get that basic stuff, everything is it's easy. Well, sort of. Uh, yeah, that's my biggest, and people don't like that. Just they think it's boring, and it is boring because you can see immediately who has a passion for art and who doesn't. Because once you tell them like, no, I don't want to do that. Well, I don't know what you're doing here, because that's what I'm teaching you that. And I have a few, like, actually it grew so fast and so big. I think I have 3 or 4 thousand people there, but I just don't care about numbers because they really don't interact. They're just there to camp. And there's like 10 of them that they really want to do it. Like, they told me they do every single thing I tell them, and they're progressing at like super fast. And I told them I don't care about those. We can open another group and just teach those 10 people, because that's the other ones that are never going to do anything. I mean, they might start selling some commissions on whatever place. It doesn't matter. But they're never gonna reach I'm not gonna say never, but they're taking the long road, and the other ones are gonna become better and faster, and time is limited in this life. So
Awesome. Thank you for that. It's amazing. And we are down to our last two questions. So this one is, do you have any future projects you are working on that you are excited about?
yes, I don't know if I can tell. Well, it's my own project, so I can do whatever. Um, so I'm doing a fishing. Well, since I moved here to the mountains, I after the pandemic, and I almost died actually. I was in 2019, I think. I almost died because I had COVID, and I ended up with a really bad case of my lungs are still not recovered that well. So what happened is that I started fishing. I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't work. I couldn't. So I started fishing. I live right outside. There's a river and there's a creek. So I just start fishing every day, every day, every day. So I became a fanatic. So one of those things that you cannot find in comic books is a book about fishing. And I'm trying to do my own like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So my characters, obviously, I change it a lot. Like I don't want to be a copy, but this is like the characters are fish, and the fishermen are the prey in this case. So it's something that I never seen, and and I'm gonna do that. I also have a bunch of professional fishermen that are gonna be in the comic book. So it's gonna be they are gonna market the book, and it's gonna hopefully become a good success. We'll see about that. I'm working on issue number one. I haven't finished it yet. I'm doing it on. It's on the back burner. I'm doing it like one page per month, or probably two two pages per month. So it's taking a long time because I'm working on the other projects, the ones that they're paying the bills. Um, but yeah, I'm working on that. Um, I'm planning to do the sequel for this one. It's called Demon's Quest. Um, and I have other projects too. I mean, I have my I did this. What are you? It's right here. I did this anthology. It's called More Monsters and Heroes Anthology. So I have another another book already finished. That's volume number two, and I'm gonna publish it probably next year. I don't know. I have too much on this year, but probably next year. Um, and I'm probably in volume three. That also. It depends. You know, uh, it's hard to get that much money to publish and pay all the artists. But we'll see one at a time. It depends on how good it sells. The first one, on the second one, and then you go one. You don't go five at the same time. Well, I do sometimes, but on this case, anthologies don't sell that well for me, at least. I don't know others, but and so little by little, step by step. So that one is my next project. Um, too. I have many other projects. Yeah.
Those seem very exciting. I can't wait to see them and check them out. Speaking of checking them out, that is the last question is where can we find your comic books?
My comic books. If you Google my name, they're probably coming. There's a there's a list of places. Um, I have a Gemini Comics on Facebook. I'm going to start a shop where I can sell everything there. But I've been so fortunate that I always had work. Uh, like other companies hire me, like this one, like the one that I just show you. This one's paying really well. Um, or the Samurai 2, like it's paying well. So I don't have to do my own shop like I don't have like OzzyLongoria.com. Like I just never had. So you can find me. Just Google my name, Ozzy Longoria, and look for Gemini Comics on Facebook. Um, Basically, Ozzy Longoria in every single social network, and yeah, I'm on every single one. Instagram, TikTok. Uh, and by the way, the name of the other comic book is called Angleros. Angleros. So look for that one. It's coming out soon.
Awesome. Well, that was our last question. So thank you very much for meeting with me today. I appreciate it. I was very excited to talk to you. So that is the end of it. So I hope you have a good one and everyone else that is watching live stream as well.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you. No problem.